Hello and welcome to this preview of Sibos 2015 in Singapore. My name is Brian Caplen, I'm editor of The Banker, and with me to discuss this year's Sibos agenda is Swift's Chief Executive Gottfried Leibbrandt. Gottfried, welcome to the FT studio in London.
Thank you.
And Sibos is going to be in Singapore. It was last in Singapore in 2003, so more than 10 years ago. What sort of changes have we seen in Asia since then and that have impacted on the whole trade finance and messaging business?
A few big changes. One is just the economic growth in the region, and we see that reflected. We see investment in infrastructures, so they are building their plumbing. We've seen RTGSs pop up. We have the Hong Kong RTGS, HKMA, 4 currencies. So a lot of focus on newer infrastructures, general economic growth. For Swift, that you see that reflected in our volumes in the area, but also in our investment. We've opened up offices. We've done initiatives there. We have the Go Local India venture to help connect the Indian RTGS to Swift. We can talk about Australia faster new payments infrastructure, the opening up of the renminbi, seeing that.
All right, let's talk about the renminbi. We normally have a little bit of a chat about the renminbi because it's been such a phenomenal growth story.
Yeah.
I think Swift released news that over 1,000 banks now use renminbi in their China and Hong Kong payments. Do you expect that growth to continue at the same rate, or are we going to see a bit of a pause now, especially as we're seeing a slowdown in China?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've seen it in the league tables where the renminbi, which we track on the Swift network, has gone from number 17 currency, and I think they're now at number 5 or 4, getting up there. You're now behind the euro, the dollar, and sterling, which are harder to overtake. But I do think, in terms of overall percentages, it's still 2 or 3%, if I'm not mistaken. So there's room for further growth. It's still a small percentage given the size of the underlying economy. So I think we're still playing catch up, if you will, to get to the same level as some of the European currencies in relationship to the economy. Maybe some of the steep growth will slow down a little bit with the economic slowdown, but the real drive will be China's measure. What are they doing to really foster convertibility, opening up capital markets, etc. And if those reforms continue, I think you'll see a continued rise of the use of the renminbi.
All right, let's leave Asia for a second and then go to Africa, because that's where you've seen the fastest growth in payments traffic overall, haven't you?
Yeah.
Angola's got up something like 78% to date. Do you expect that kind of growth to continue?
I do expect that to continue. Still, if you look at overall payment figures, I think South Africa is still a sizable percentage, and we see the other countries sort of playing catch up to that. The other interesting thing in Africa is the building of new transnational infrastructures. There's at least 3. There's the WAMZ, Western Africa Monetary Zone. There's SADC, the Southern African countries. There's Eastern Africa Initiative. So it's 3 large regional initiatives to sort of integrate markets, if you will. Lots of experimentation with new payment systems, M-Pesa on the retail side. New RTGSs. We 2 years ago welcomed the Nigerian RTGS on Swift, and I think with that almost all the RTGSs are now reachable over the Swift network. So we've seen a lot of growth, and I would expect that to continue. I see the potential there. I think there's still lots of upside, if you will. And as these economies get more interconnected, I think lots of opportunities for players like us. We're investing in the region. We're opening up offices in Ghana and in Kenya. So we're also, in that sense, investing in the region. We've always had an office in South Africa and in Dubai, but that will now be reinforced.
Okay, lots to discuss in Singapore then.